So another day, another village, and this time Jamie and I are in Long Buckby. So if you've seen any of our previous village videos in Northamptonshire, generally speaking, when I'm talking about the history of the village, we start off in the churchyard because usually that's the oldest place in the village. Long Buckby is a little bit different because Long Buckby has its own medieval castle.
Where's that then?
Pardon? Oh, Jamie's asking where it is. Well, I'm stood on it. Well, okay, there's no castle building as such with turrets and drawbridges and everything, but there are the remaining earthworks with evidence of a bailey and the curtain walls of the castle remaining today. There are only 7 remnants of medieval ringworks of castles in Northamptonshire. So for that reason and many other reasons, Long Buckby is a rather special village. So like many Northamptonshire villages, a settlement called Buckby was registered in the Domesday Book of 1086. But records show that a settlement was present here well before that, when north, central and east of England was under the control of the Vikings. So it's got a long history. So it was called Buckby then, meaning Bucker's valley or den or farmland. The Long prefix was first recorded in the Elizabethan era, and that just referred to how long the village was. So for centuries the industry around Long Buckby village would have been farming and agriculture like many other villages. But in the 17th century the East Anglian woolen industry spread into Northamptonshire, and Long Buckby became a centre for weaving and wool combing. It wasn't until the 1850s that the thriving shoemaking industry in Northampton spread first to Daventry, and some plucky entrepreneurs tried their luck in Long Buckby, and for 150 years Long Buckby was a very important shoemaking village. Within the parish of Long Buckby there are 2 other areas. There's Mercott, the hamlet, which is on the way out to Watford, and Long Buckby Wharf, where we are now. In the 18th century, Long Buckby Wharf was a thriving community with its own church, village hall and pub, and there was quite a lot of industry going on here with the distribution of coal and coke and Welsh slate. Nowadays Long Buckby Wharf is a quiet residential area. It's a really lovely place. You can easily hop onto the canal towpath and have a lovely walk in either direction. The New Inn, which is a lovely canal side pub with great food, is a little bit that way down that way. If you want to carry on walking, you'll end up in Braunston. There's a fabulous marina there and other attractions. And in the opposite direction, there's a flight of locks going down to Wilton, where there's another marina. So either way, you have a fantastic walk. There were a couple of very busy factories making shoes in Long Buckby, but also there were very many individual workshops in shoemakers' houses and sheds at the end of the garden, workshops at the end of the garden. And what would happen was the shoes would be passed around the different workshops at different stages of their production. Everybody was an expert in a certain field, and they would go back to the factories for finishing. Long Buckby had a reputation for making very high quality hand-stitched footwear, and in particular riding boots. And this continued until the last of the factories closed in the year 2000, but there were still quite a few gentlemen who were able to produce a pair of shoes from their very own homes. If you're interested to know more about the history of the shoemaking industry in Long Buckby, Long Buckby has its very own museum within the community centre here that has many different artefacts demonstrating the history of shoemaking in Long Buckby. Interesting to take a look. Nowadays, Long Buckby is a thriving community with lots going on. I moved here just over 4 years ago and I absolutely love it. There's absolutely everything you need on your doorstep within walking distance. Yeah, let me try and list what's available in Long Buckby. So, we have 2 supermarkets, 2 Indian restaurant takeaways, 2 Chinese takeaways, 2 pizza takeaways, a pub with a restaurant, a micro pub with a bottle shop, now I'm going to have to get my list out. Where was I? A butcher's, a pharmacist, several hairdressers, a dentist, a doctor's surgery, a vet's, an artisanal bakery, 𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗏, a coffee and cocktail bar, a really great sandwich bar, an art studio where you can learn to paint, a most amazing fish shop. So as well as all those shopping facilities and restaurants and everything, there is a nursery school, there's a primary school, there are 3 churches of 3 different denominations. Long Buckby's in the catchment area for 𝗕𝘂𝗪𝗏 Academy. Also, because Long Buckby has a fabulous mainline train station where you can get to London Euston in an hour and 3/4, you can also access some of the rugby schools as well, so you're within the catchment area for them. It's got the community hall with lots going on, lots of activities, fitness groups and so on. We've got the gym and fitness centre just behind me on the corner. There are several parks. There's Cotton End Park, which is full of wildlife, a great place to go for a picnic or a walk, or to take the kids and show them what's around the local flora and fauna. There's Millbank Nature Reserve on the way out to Murcott, and again that has lots going on. It's a great place to take the kids just for a bimble around. And not forgetting, of course, we've got the rugby club, the cricket club and the football club, and some great playing fields. So I'm back outside the library in Long Buckby, and this is a great example of what Long Buckby can do when the community comes together. Whilst a lot of libraries were closing down in Northamptonshire villages, the community and the villages decided to keep this open as much as possible. So now it's a community managed library and social hub with lots of activities for all the ages. There's been a recent initiative to boost the aesthetic appeal of Long Buckby as well, with a tree and flower planting scheme like this. So finally we're here in the churchyard of St Lawrence's. Really beautiful church and really lovely churchyard to walk around. Just beyond the church there are some lovely country walks. So I hope you've enjoyed our little tour around Long Buckby. I'm sorry if I've missed anything vital out, but I haven't got as long as I'd like. I could go on and on about the attributes of living in a village like this. I absolutely love it. So if you need any advice about living in Long Buckby, if you're unfortunate enough to have to move out of Long Buckby, I'm sure we can help you find a buyer. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you.